Anybody listening with anxiety, they will tell you, yes, I use my imagination to pre-experience things all the time. The thing I love about this concept is that our brains are trying to draw upon what is familiar. If we can use our imagination to pre-experience things, we can use that to envision imagery of our intention manifesting as if we have already walked the path and get really specific about it. Our brain then stores that as a memory to draw upon as being familiar.
Mental health, emotional health, physical health, deeper understanding, actionable takeaways to improve your quality of life. We're the Level Up Guys.
Even guys can have emotionally literate conversations, and we're the guys that are going to prove it.
All right, we're back. What's up, you guys? We are the Level Up Guys. That's Jarrett. I am Billy, the host of the program. Today, we're talking about goals versus intentions. Our goal here is to create an amazing podcast. The intention is to be as present and informative and insightful as we possibly can so we can strive for our goal. So tell me, Jarrett, this is a kind of a hard thing to quantify and differentiate between the two things. Goal to me seems like this is someplace I'm going to get to. And intention seems kind of like this is where I am and this is how I want to feel about things. That seems like a very vanilla way to put it. But how would you explain kind of the difference between these two different concepts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that goals, considering them as the destination, like you said, where I want to get to, I think that I like that. That resonates with me too. And intentions are harder to put your finger on. If I'm gonna, I don't have my own good definition, but I really like what Jay Shetty has said about them. He's big into living with purpose and intention. And he says goals are what you want out of something, and intentions are what you put into something. That resonates with me.
Yep.
And then there's another quote that really resonated with me as I was thinking about this, where intentions are a co-creation with the universe. With goals, I myself have to go after it. That's by Nikki Novo. But think of that. Intentions are a co-creation with the universe. What does that mean to you? It's kind of like a abstract thing. So let's boil it down a bit.
Yeah, I mean, so an intention would be, for example, for yoga practice, I'm going to be as present as possible in the moment so I'm not distracted. I'm going to put in my very best effort with the physical self, the mental self that I have today. Things like that. Some yoga classes actually start off with the teacher saying, hey, set an intention for this moment in time for what we're doing.
Yeah, I can really appreciate that. And I like your example with yoga too. It's like if I were thinking about a yoga class so you tell me if this is right. I'm going to I've only done a little bit of yoga, as you know, but this is your expertise. So would a goal for yoga be, I want to be able to balance for the full time in this posture with minimal discomfort? That might be like a goal that I would set, and an intention being more like, as I'm learning to move, as I'm moving towards this goal, if I fall over or am not balanced or am uncomfortable, I'm going to meet that with self-compassion and try again. I'm going to meet it with perseverance.
Yep. There's a lot of truth to that. I would say that balancing in the posture for the whole time would be an outcome. And if you shifted the goal to being, my goal is to have as best technique as I can. So you're controlling the output, not the outcome. Because you might not be able to balance for the whole entire time. Still, you could do it exactly right and feel better, be stronger, more mobility, more flexibility. So if your goal was to have impeccable technique in what you're doing, their intention would be, I need to really make sure that I'm watching the teacher demonstrate, or I'm listening to the words that are happening, or I'm very patient with myself, or I remind myself that I don't have to get it all done today. I can keep coming and keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. So you're kind of liberating yourself from expectations. Because there's a lot of people who kind of get disappointed if they can't hold on to the posture for the whole time. And I see a lot of people who have that goal and want to meet that goal, and
Yeah.
they'll sacrifice their breathing, they'll sacrifice their concentration, and they're just trying to hang on for dear life until I say change.
I see. I see. I love the framework you just provided of output over outcome. Can you say I know, I mean, you've explained it really clearly right there. But can you just say a little bit more about that? Because I really love that.
Yeah, well, let's just say that you want to lose some weight and get a little bit fitter. If you go take one class or go to the gym or go for a run once and you look in the mirror, nothing will change. And if you do it the second day, the same thing, nothing will change. And probably the third, fourth, fifth day, nothing is going to change. So the outcome, we really have no control over the outcome. It will happen. It will happen. But your output of doing it on the daily, having the right frequency, having the right intensity, and having the right precision, having that right output. So then the output comes. Being able to balance on one leg for the whole duration, that will come, or maybe it won't. Right. But what you can control is how concentrated you are, that every morning you get up, you lace up your sneakers, even if it's raining, and you go for a run, and that's going to be your output. And then the outcome is you will lose the weight, and your body's going to, transform. It will look different in the mirror, and that will come. Like if we were on a hockey team and we said, we're going to score a goal.
No, you don't have control over that, right?
We don't have control. That's the goal. But what's the intention? Well, we're going to skate really well. We're going to be tough. We're going to avoid penalties. We're going to, make sure we're healthy and hydrated, in the best shape. Or all of these things, the intentions, kind of lead you to the output, and maybe you score a goal and win the game. Maybe you don't.
Yeah, I take that. Yeah, thank you for that clarification there. Man, I knew you were gonna bust it out during this episode. I love that. All right.
Well, that happens to be something that I would talk about a lot in Pilates and yoga class, because everybody's, we all want the same stuff. Everybody wants to be healthy and feel good and be, less critical of ourselves and be confident and safe and secure. Like everybody wants the same stuff. It's like, what are you willing to actually do for it? I taught a 7 a.m. class this morning. And, are you willing to get up at 5:30 in the morning, grab your stuff, drive across town, come see me, spend an hour in a heated environment? Are you willing to do that to get closer to your goals?
Yeah.
To have the right output on the daily.
Yeah. And it sounds like the way that you're defining output is like what it's about action, right? Like not just how where for me it differs from intention a little bit. And I think that you're saying that it's not the same, but intention can be internal. Output, which is why it's not called input. Output is how am I using that intention to engage? Is that right?
Yeah.
Love it.
Right. Let's go back to your goals. So if you're saying, I want to, in standing bow pulling pose in yoga class, be able to balance on one leg for the entire time. And you might say, I took class next to you, Billy, and I'm going to do what you do. Like, what do I need to do to get to where you need to be? And so I would say, well, you're going to take 6 to 8 classes for the next 17 years. You have to go to every workshop, every posture clinic, every private lesson. You got to sell all of your stuff, become a teacher, own a studio, do all like, you want to do that? Probably not. Like, we don't need to be, gold medal yoga people. This is not the yoga Olympics. Like that wouldn't be a proper goal. Do you want to fix your knee pain and your back pain and have more like self-control and concentration? We can do that. Mm-hmm. But my output and my goals and that is kind of irrelevant to what you're doing,
Yeah, definitely. When you've been kind of thinking of goals versus intentions or talking about them during yoga or Pilates, do you use any sorry, if I can speak, do you use any metaphors to like bring to people? Like anything or any imagery or images, things like that. There's in my therapy sessions, I have There's like one that comes to, or kind of a differentiation that comes to mind, but I want to be curious first, before
Well,
I.
let me hear yours. Let me hear yours.
All right, okay. So if you insist, but I want to, yeah, tell me how this resonates with you, and yeah, and if you got stuff too. So when I think of like a goal mindset, I think about it's like climbing steps on a ladder, right? And if you stop climbing, you're not in motion, you're stagnant, right? If you fall off your routine, or if you kind of, I don't know, like let's say the goal is to eat healthy, right? Or let's say the goal is to lose weight, and the way that you're getting there is by eating healthy and exercising, right? Um, so if you stop doing either of those things, you are not moving towards your goal at this, at the same rate, or maybe not even at all. And then if you start to, have a late night snack, or go out for Chinese food or something, and you get the thing with thick sauce, stuff like that. I think a lot of people's mentality is, oh man, like I've broken the thing. It's almost like breaking the step of the ladder and falling back to the bottom and starting from the bottom again. At least I think of when I talk to clients, like that's their mindset when they talk about goals. And for an intention mindset, what comes to mind for me is like, imagine you have a long string of, those, like when we went to school, like the gym floors had the basketball lines, and and like the kind of outline, and so there's this really long line across a floor, right? If you think of intention mindset as taking a ball, like a kickball or something, let's say, and just kind of gently rolling it along that line to be aligned with, to roll over and be aligned with that line as best you can, right? So intention mindset is like choosing a direction and maintaining momentum and moving things in that direction. So it's about the movement in the direction. So this said, like if you stop rolling the ball, metaphorically, so like if you are choosing a behavior that's not aligned with the intentions, like, oh, I'm going to go out for Chinese food tonight. Like when you think about it, the ball doesn't stop rolling, right? There's already inertia that keeps it going. So let's imagine that as like the ball starts to roll off the line, right? Rather than having to start from the beginning, your task is just to roll the ball back onto the line, and then continue keeping the momentum in the direction that you're choosing, right? So it's like this goal mindset being this ladder, and if you stop what you're doing or stop moving towards it, then a lot of people feel like, oh, I've fallen off the ladder. Whereas intention mindset uses inertia that has come from momentum that you have activated and you've put effort into. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I think goals can be a really great thing to set. However, I believe one, they can be a checklist. Like, what do you do when you get to the top of the ladder? You've reached your goal. Where intentions can be, a reoccurring thing. However, if you set a goal that's actually a reasonable goal, like if you say to yourself, the next 6 months, I'm going to lose 40 pounds. Every day I'm going to eat super healthy every single day. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go take a class 3 or 4 times a week. Then if you fall off and something happens, that can feel kind of defeating.
Right.
But if setting a goal where you can actually like probably meet that goal, right, and keep rolling with it, because during the process of doing it,
Yeah.
things will alter.
Yeah. So I know we've talked a little bit about each of us having ADHD, and you use the word or the phrase like feeling defeated. I think that a common experience from people that I talk with, and also for myself, is when I experience myself not achieving a goal or not hitting a goal. I defeated is the perfect word. It's the perfect word. So I'm curious if that resonates with you, because I see you as somebody who really moves with ambition towards things, right? But I'm curious, like where that comes from and how this idea of like potentially feeling defeated, if that resonates.
Yeah, it does. I'm really highly motivated to move towards things ambitiously if I'm really passionate
Mm-hmm.
about those things. I think there's 5 things in my life, 5 different topics and areas that I'm really interested in. Um, I had a student the other day who came out of class and it was her 200th class, and she'd been eyeing a Rebel T-shirt. So, or that's some of the name of my studio, if you guys don't know. So she went over, she had this T-shirt, she had her eye, and she got the T-shirt, and she came back, and after she got it, I'm like, this is really a big accomplishment, 200 classes. You should be really proud of yourself. Now what? What's the next? You probably won't count to like 250. Like, I think the counting is over. So maybe the goal of 200 got you in the swing of things, so that it's part of your habit, part of your routine. Probably now this is just your way of life. This is just what you're gonna do.
It sounds like we got your dog Chili's intention is to be part of this podcast.
Yeah.
Our first guest.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, not to derail us, but yeah, to align with what's already happening.
Yeah, it's kind of like my studio in September will be open 10 years. It's a decade, right? It's a big thing, 10 years.
Yeah.
But then I'm not going to be, what happens to 11 and 12 and 13 and like 15 to be cool, 20 to be cool. But 9 is as cool as 11, as cool as 10 is. Nothing changed except this arbitrary number where like a goal is 10. Yeah. But if the intention is to like run a business, be successful, be a work of service to the community, enjoy what I'm doing with my days, you know, really help people in a place.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's 10 years or 1 year. It doesn't matter if you lost 5 pounds or 40 pounds. Like, I'm going to try to sleep better, eat better, hydrate more, do some breathing exercises, watch more of the Level Up guys to improve the quality of life. Like those intentions, that output, will get you closer and closer and closer.
You know, that is reminding me of something that Mark Groves says or has said. Again, we shout him out all the time. Go listen to his podcast as soon as he finished this one, assuming there's no more episodes that you haven't already listened to of the Level Up guys.
Binge it.
So he talks about how, you know, previous generations and even people today are measuring the success of a relationship by how long it lasts, right? And he doesn't agree with that. He's saying, regardless of how long it lasts, we're both people in it authentically and like being and kind of using each other in non-codependent ways to learn about themselves and like just learn how to show up with authenticity. And like, even if that lasted for 3 months, like that is how we should measure success. It's not because like people can be unhappy together for 50 years, right? That's not necessarily a success of a relationship. That might be a fear of failure, right?
Yeah.
So, so this idea that like the length of time doesn't necessarily have to be a goal. Like, you know, some amount of it can be, but if it's not met with intention that you can measure in a kind of daily small action, small behaviors way, then that that ensures that you're aligning with your values, right? I think that's a big part of intentions is like, am I aligned with my value system? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think also if you think back a couple of generations ago, probably all of our grandparents and great grandparents were married for like 50 plus years. Maybe that's a societal thing. Maybe separation and divorce was kind of frowned upon. However, I think you're absolutely right. Like if you set the goal, like, yes, I want to get married and stay married for the next 50 years. However, if along the way we're miserable, if we grow apart and do different things, like it would be a good intention to seek happiness and find a different goal.
Right. If your goal is authenticity, right, and you're not able to be that in a relationship. Or sorry, no, if your intention is what I mean to say is authenticity, and the person that you're with is not allowing for that, or is I don't want to say is not, well, in some cases it could be not allowing, but or is limiting your own growth towards your own authenticity, then it, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that that's not maybe aligned with this relationship, and it could be friends too. It doesn't have to be romantic, right? Like this relationship is maybe no longer aligned with your value system. And yeah, and so have a goal of like never saying goodbye. That's just maybe fear of grief potentially.
Right. I mentioned earlier how a lot of yoga teachers will start off the class by asking everyone to set an intention. I want to follow up on that because I don't. I think intentions, and I want to hear your opinion on this. I feel like they can be a little bit like woo-woo sometimes. And I feel like intentions need some sort of significant structure to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I remember you telling me a story. It might have been on this podcast, but I don't remember if it was. So I'm going to say it out loud and people can hear it again. But we've had a lot of conversations. What can I say, people? So, so I, when I went to hot yoga or, Bikram yoga specifically in the past, what I think I was told was like the goal is to stay in the room, right? And that could be like physically, it could be kind of mentally, emotionally, but like be present in the room, right? And I remember you sharing that that is not only just like happens to not be something you say, like you purposefully are not sending that message. If I'm remembering correctly, you say breathe and have fun. Like those are maybe the intentions that you help try to set for people. And because so can you say a little bit more about like your intention of not choosing to send that as the message?
Yeah, so every new student that walks into the studio to take my Pilates class, I say you have two goals for class: breathe and have fun. I said it back then and I say it now. If you're taking yoga class, I say you have one goal: breathe. Everything else is optional because it might not be as fun as the Pilates class. But if somebody walks in and I say your goal is to stay in the room, like it's a hot room, to stay in the room, one, it's setting some sort of an influence that you might not be able to stay in the room. Like something might happen in there that you won't be able to stay in the room. And I want you to be empowered where if you're in my class and you have to use the bathroom, you can be an empowered person and use the bathroom. Or if you need to refill your water bottle, you can do that. Or, if suddenly you remember that you forgot to turn the kettle off, you can do that because you're an empowered person. You're not following some rule that I made to like stay in the room.
Yeah.
Now, my teacher would say mentally stay in the room, stay on your mat. That doesn't mean you can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
It means like be intentional about what you're doing and be focused and present and use this class as time for you to be able to do it.
Yeah.
I try to really like hold a space for people to be on their own journey. And it goes much deeper on that too. Maybe it's partially because I'm a male yoga teacher and 95% of my clients are female. Mm-hmm. I'm aware that if I say to anyone, but really a female, hey, your goal is to stay here. Like how many women are in like bad jobs, bad relationships, bad situations, and maybe they don't feel super empowered to get out of it because some person is saying, no, you got to stay in the thing. Mm-hmm. Like it's about empowerment. And it's about, taking your power back.
Yeah.
And be able to do what you need to do. So yoga, the basic definition is this union between your mind and your body and your spirit. Right. So you're listening to your body and respecting your body. So if I have a rule that says you can't leave or don't leave the room or try to stay in the room and you have to use the bathroom, you're not going to be listening to your body. You're going to listen to be some rule.
Right.
that some person, and that's not yoga at all.
That makes so much sense to me, right? Like when you say it that way. And like even if somebody were feeling like they're gonna faint and just need some cool air, right? Like being allowed to listen to your body and determine your own readiness to engage and in the way that you want on the journey of yoga and fitness and Pilates as well, is a really you offer, I think, a really great opportunity and a really great framework, through uh, being purposeful about what intentions you are consciously impacting with other people.
Yeah. To unpack that a little bit further. So if you came to take my class, your health and wellness, you're my responsibility. So if you get to the point in class where you're about to faint, I really haven't done my job looking over you, because I should have told you to lay down on your mat 10 minutes ago to be able to do it. And the safest thing that we can do is for you to stay in the room. You can kneel down, sit down, lie down. Because if you're in yoga and you're breathing through your nose and you're there and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, if suddenly you stand up and your blood pressure changes and you're breathing through your mouth, so maybe your sympathetic nervous system starts to kick in.
Sure.
And you go from a room that's 100 degrees to the air-conditioned lobby that's 70 degrees, the chances of you not feeling well just went through the roof. Where if you can be proactive and listen to your body before you get to that point. So at my studio, the ladies' room is like down the hall, bang a left, it's way down there, and it's tile floor.
Right.
So
you don't want somebody going, necessarily. It wouldn't be, not that you don't want, it wouldn't be safe for somebody to leave and potentially faint there.
I ask people if they are going to step out for any reason to look them in the eye and give me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
So I know you're not feeling dizzy. You're not going to go slip on the tile 3 miles down the road in the bathroom. And I don't know you're there, because I love you and I want you to be safe.
Right.
So there's kind of a method to that philosophy. But you have to unpack it and explain it to people. I love you and I'm trying to take care of you. Maybe you're new to this environment. Always you can take breaks.
Yeah.
A lot of times what happens is people don't know what to do. And if you're in fight or flight mode, you're either going to fight through it or you're going to leave. So if I tell you at any point, you can kneel down, you can sit down, you can lie down, then you have other options.
Right. That don't activate the stress response.
Right.
Yeah.
Because your goal is not to stay in the room.
Right.
Your goal is to have such an experience that you can't wait to do it again tomorrow. And then you can keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. I mean, if you start to faint, you're probably not coming back. And I probably can't help you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Right. So there's and just this an intention for people of like self-attunement through their practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bikram yoga, the style of yoga that I love, that I've been teaching for a number of years, has gotten somewhat of a bad rap. There was this viral TikTok video from some teacher in New York. I think she had reprimanded a student for drinking water at some point in class. So I always try to remember, as much as I've practiced and as much as I'm used to the heat and as much as I'm used to the environment, I want to welcome everybody to be able to come on any given day. I would tell you, hey, it's going to take you 8 to 10 classes to really get used to the heat. So go easy on yourself, drink your water, take breaks whenever you need to. No big deal. Because the intention is that consistency over the course of time to be able to make incremental improvements to be able to eventually meet your goal. The goal of anything is never to stay in the thing. The goal of hot yoga, the goal of being married, the goal of whatever, it's not to stay in the thing.
Right.
You can shift.
Right.
You can set a different intention.
Right. It's to feel fulfilled on the journey of the thing. Right. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that, the idea of being able, or of you being careful about how you impact other people's sense of intentions makes me think of how like we really use our imagination to pre-experience things, right? Like then that's actually how, why our imagination initially developed, like through evolution. It was so that we could have some sense of planning, some sense of um, being able to know what to anticipate, all these types of things. And I mean, if you ask anybody listening with anxiety, they will tell you, yes, I use my imagination to pre-experience things all the time, and I'm envisioning these negative outcomes of things that haven't happened yet, right?
Yep.
So if it can be done in this negative way, it can also be the way it was intended originally. We can use our imagination to experience things for positive and outcomes as well, and with positive intention as well.
Yep.
And the thing I love about this concept is that we've said on here before, our brains are trying to draw upon what is familiar, right? Like that is every guess that our brain is taking or prediction that it's making, which then fuels our emotional experience and things like that, and then therefore our behavior. It's drawing upon all of our past experiences because that's the only thing that it actually knows, right? So if we can use our imagination to pre-experience things, it turns out, and there's a lot of research on this, and there are some really some evidence-based like therapy modalities that use this concept. The brain can't tell the difference between what is real and what's imagined. I was going to say that one more time because like that feels a little off to people, but I promise you, if you go YouTube it in some way, or like check it out if you don't believe me, but the brain can't tell the difference between what is real and what's imagined. And so if we can use that to envision imagery of our intention manifesting as if we have already walked the path and get really specific about it, our brain then stores that as a memory to draw upon as being familiar. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, it's wild. Yeah. It touches a little bit on like the law of attraction,
Mm,
the book, The Secret, kind of like manifesting what you want to happen with your thoughts and your imagination.
yeah.
Yeah. I think a great definition of stress is the fear of future failure.
Mm,
The fear of future failure. Thinking about the thing that might go bad, the thing that might, and we've talked on so many different little touch points in our episodes about like mantras.
mm.
I have a mantra every time before I ride my motorcycle. I say this thing
Great for intention.
What?
Great for intention. Yeah, I love
intention,
mantras.
Yeah, good for
Yeah.
attention, good for intention, good for
Nice.
like positive things, right? I mean, part of my mantra is get there safe.
Mm-hmm.
Get there safe and have a little fun along the way. That's what I say each and every time. That's the intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. You're right that I love your connection to like the science behind manifestation, right? It's not magic, right? Well, some people, my understanding is that it's not magic, just for the record. But people can believe whatever they want about it. But I think the science would say that if we, in a detailed way, envision our path towards, with all of those daily intentions, and then even imagine ourselves as having achieved the goal, and even imagine ourselves 5 years out from having achieved the goal, 10 years out from having achieved the goal. What does my life look like now? And get really detailed about it, and even start talking out loud as if it is a reality. This is something that I'm drawing this upon, or from a guy named Kyle Cease, who has this exercise that is based on this called Kylego, which is a mix of his name and his friend Diego, who came up with this based on the science. And it turns out that now, because our subconscious brains move our body towards things that feel familiar rather than new and scary and unfamiliar, if we have experienced that as familiar, our behavior is going to move towards it. That's essentially the science of manifestation. It really is about using imagination for intention.
Yeah, I agree. I also believe that it's not a, I think it's a, I don't know what the percentages are, but as much manifestation as you can have, you also need the hard work and the discipline and the self-control to do it.
Hmm.
Because there's a lot of human beings in the world, probably some people that listening right now that have thought about it, manifest, and still they're broke, still they didn't get the
Mm.
job. You still, even if I say about, I'm going to ride my motorcycle and I still have to like do it. I
Right.
still have to do it. So it's not one or the other. And
You're right.
also, too, you can put in all of the hard work in the world. However, if you're manifesting in your brain, oh, it's probably not going to work out. I always lose. I never come out on top. That's not going to work either. You have to have both of those things in some
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah. You got to be a dog going after a bone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. No, that's a great, I think a really important addition there, that imagination plus some amount of kind of self-discipline, right?
Yeah.
Uh, our so you introduced me to the Mel Robbins podcast, and she has I mean, one thing I love about her is that she just has very actionable ideas and strategies and things like that.
Yeah.
So in terms of like that self-discipline, right? That so many people find themselves having difficulty acting in ways that align with their intention or their imagined future or whatever. So she says she talks about this thing called the 5 second rule. And she says this is the way that you avoid procrastination of the actions that you need to achieve your intentions or to align. So she says, as soon as you get the inclination or the thought, like this is kind of what I want to be doing, or this is what somebody who has achieved this would be doing to get there, is, and then you start to feel yourself like, I just want to keep scrolling on my phone. As soon as you have that self-awareness, you count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you just stand up, put down and you just start to do it, right? It doesn't give us, the whole idea is like, we get into overthinking and over reflecting sometimes, and that takes us out of action. And in order to move through the world, it requires action, right? In order to achieve goals, in order to align with our intentions, that does achieve action or output, as you were kind of framing it before, right? So
Yeah.
that's one thing that she shares that I really like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. I think she used it as an example of like getting out of bed, not hitting
Mm.
snooze, like saying, to be able to get up. I do
Mm.
a similar thing, especially when I'm taking class, if I'm struggling, and it's a challenging day,
Yeah.
in an exercise class. I can't say what I say to myself in my brain because it's profane, but it's, to keep myself like going and determined. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's really the consistency of our efforts, those intentions repeated over the course of time continuously, you
Yeah.
know, allowing for interruptions along the way because we all fall out of it. We all fall down,
Sure.
what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that can really set like a powerful opportunity for transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, some other strategies that people suggest, and I want to hear if you have any in particular or what you think of these ones, because I know that you do a lot of work with intentions and goals through your practice. So another one is using prompts, like, and it could be, just so it could be journal prompts if you're somebody who likes to journal and write, but it also can be just prompts that you take time to maybe meditate on or something like that, right? To check in with yourself and be accountable of, am I aligned with my values, right? Is my behavior aligned with my values? Does somebody who I would admire for having this value, or that I do admire for having this value, is this what, is blank what they would do or would be doing, right?
Right.
And being kind of self-accountable, but even accountable to other people. Sometimes that also really helps people stay aligned. That's a big
Yeah.
part of like a lot of 12-step programs.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, for me personally, it's mantras. At the studio, I do what's called visions. So like behind the front desk on the computer is a little printout of a vision. And it says, there's a line of people out the door asking, is there room for me? So I'm behind the front desk, and here's whoever's working the front desk sees this every day.
Yeah.
There's a line of people out the door asking, is there room for me? And the reason being is we can check in to make sure that anything we're doing in any given moment is going to support that vision. Right? Which means if you're running the front desk, you can't be in the back room. You can't be on your phone because there's a line of people out the door asking, is there room for me? We have to be like on point, have systems in place that are fully functioning, and, you know, have nice standard operating procedures to get everybody in the right spot to be able to check in with that. Is what I'm doing in this moment, running the front desk or opening the studio or closing the studio, is that supporting the vision of where I want to be?
Yeah. No, I love that. It sounds like you're turning what could be tasks into rituals, right? By adding meaning. So like one thing that I always appreciated was somebody, I saw this in a TED Talk. I wish I could tell you who it was, but thank you to that person. That rituals are routines plus meaning, right? Plus adding like significance or meaning and savoring that meaning. So, and what are routines? They're a grouping of tasks, right? So tasks can lead to routines, and when you apply significance to them and something that's meaningful, but really like as an emotional motivator, right? Because our emotions are meant to give us energy. They literally are energy showing up in our body, like indicating some action. So, I mean, Tony Robbins says, his advice for setting intentions and acting, because he's big on like taking the action steps, right? So he says, find a strong emotional motivator to support acting in ways that align with your values, right? Now, strong emotional motivators, that can be across the board, right? That could be somebody thinking, oh my God, like I'm going to lose my family if I don't do this thing. So that works for some people, right? And, that can be done with shame or without shame, right? But, so that's tricky there. But it also could be, seeking a really positive emotional response, thinking about, like getting the thing or doing the thing, like having a sense of pride and really savoring that. But it could also be something as simple as listening to a song while I do this thing that just pumps my body up and like makes me want to engage in something. Right. So there's a lot of different ways to bring an emotional motivator into action. Yeah.
Yep. That's a good intention. Yeah. Seems like a great something to put in your bag of tricks to meet your goals.
Yeah. Do you have a preference of goals or intentions? Or do you kind of see them as just equal, but situationally different?
For me personally, I'm all about intentions and very little goals. I mean, maybe because I'm a little bit older, and I know in my life, I could think, okay, should I go left or right? And I could think about it, ask all my friends, do all my research, and make a decision. And I have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe you come up, maybe something else happens in life, which is a better goal than you could even anticipated. Maybe the goal that you had really didn't turn out like you thought it would be.
Yeah.
But the intentions they seem to be more maybe under our control. Maybe you're a little bit more connected, like emotionally, to how we want to live our lives.
Yeah.
The process of those things, process of repetition.
That's great. Do you mind if I jump in?
Please.
You just sparked a thought in me. Do you see how I asked if you mind if I jump in? Usually I just, okay. My intention is to respect you. So you talked about goals and potentially pivoting, right? If something different comes along, right? I think that intentions can be used to know what to pivot to, right? Like, because if, like, it's like those moments where it's like, okay, I was moving towards this thing, whatever, but there's this other thing. I'm not sure if it's right? I think if we check in with our value system and check in with our how our body feels about it and what generates like powerful emotion when we sit with each of them and kind of envision each of them. I think that our intentions speak to us and kind of um, show us when and what to pivot to.
Yeah. 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 I'm going through, if you asked me, 15 years ago, how I would feel about owning a yoga Pilates studio by the beach and warm weather for 10 years, I'd be like, that's amazing. That sounds great. And like being in it, I'm like, all right, maybe it's not what I thought. Maybe my intentions are, maybe it's turned out a little bit different.
Sure.
Maybe it doesn't really like match my own personal intentions of what I would be doing with my life and my career.
Yeah.
So even having like met the goal and met
Yeah.
my goal, because I said, yeah, it'd be nice to do it for 10 years. That's awesome. Yeah, I ran a studio for a decade. That's really great. It'd be awesome to do it for 2 decades. That's true. But I have to make sure that my own intentions are being met as well,
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I had an intention to have a nice community of like-minded people that could be my support system, it's really hard to meet that, to have that intention while doing this type of work.
Yeah, especially like in a smaller city or town, right?
Yeah.
That has distance, a fair amount of distance to other. Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a male yoga studio owner. Like if I go to Whole Foods, I'm the yoga guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So that's like all in people look at me and they're like, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's a nice illustration of that piece.
Yeah. And I appreciate, this is kind of an art to intentions and setting them and meeting them and being okay when you don't do them and recognizing like what would be an unfair thing, like touching back upon ADHD. Like we could very easily set unreasonable goals in an excited, passionate, hyper-focused moment.
Yeah.
And we would step back and be like, well, that's never going to happen. I've built 1,000 planes and I've only flew a couple of them.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Is that from something or?
I don't know where, some book or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that resonates with me too. I definitely feel like I've even started building planes and didn't get to the propeller part yet, or like, regardless of whether they're built or not. Yeah. Oh, I hear you.
But if you set a goal of, flying planes, you might miss the part where you just really love building planes. You love coming up with ideas, even if they never, like, I want to intentionally be a creative person. And I love, the thought process of coming up with different ideas. And maybe they never come to fruition. And maybe that's not the goal. Maybe the goal is to be like creative and think outside the box and, enjoy how my mind works without actually having to like do something with it.
Right. So like be creative. Like, so the intention could be, I want to engage in creative ways that are authentic to me. Right. Or that feel authentic to me. And that could look like playing music. That could look like doing a podcast. That could look like being a writer of, whether it could look like writing in a journal. It could look like doodling on pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Very nice. Cool.
Anything else on your agenda here before we wrap it up? That was great.
Yeah. No. I feel full. I feel satiated.
Right on.
Yeah.
Tensions met.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody who listens, and my intentions for all of you are to be able to level up from these episodes. If you are, and if you like what you're hearing and you want to engage with us, please comment on videos. Please comment on, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we are on everywhere that you can stream a podcast. Share with the friends. That's the way that we spread the word, and we really appreciate that. That's the greatest thing that you could do for us, is to listen and share with somebody who you think would like it. And yeah, we hope that you keep coming back.
Right on. Level up, guys. Till next time.
All right. Love you, buddy. Let's level up. All right. Bye.
That's it for today, you guys. Make sure to follow us. You can find us on all the major platforms. If you really like what you heard, maybe share it with a friend, share it with a buddy, maybe share it with an enemy, because we all need a little bit of love. We're going to level up together. See you next time.